it's basically censorship in the name of child protection. I'm going to link stuff in the descriptions. You can do your own research with that. This bill was passed in the UK recently, and this bill has been introduced in the USA. This is also being introduced in other locations, but this is not that kind of video. You're gonna have to do your own research with that. It's becoming very much more evident that this is not about child safety. This is about just censoring and monitoring people. And I don't want to get political. I don't want to get into stupid political arguments, but I think we can all agree that this is a direct violation of the First Amendment, I would argue, because of this. But I can't help but wonder if YouTube is actively trying to censor me as well, because I'm also talking about this stuff. I want this stuff to be talked about. And also considering the fact that I have a confirmation from someone that I do trust that is also against the all this AI verification and stuff, and all of this AI implementation that YouTube's trying to pull. A lot of people don't like this, and a lot of people are talking about this, and I firmly, wholeheartedly believe, because this is something that YouTube would do. YouTube is it's YouTube. Like,
ARMA here. Welcome to a brand new ARMAvation conversation. I'm here with the one and only DBL MP, content creator, YouTuber. So thank you, DBL, for choosing to have this conversation with me. And to get started, I like to ask all my guests, how are you doing so far? Any highlights this year?
Hello, I am doing as best as I possibly can with everything that is going on currently. It's pretty stressful times. But I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
Okay, let's quickly get into your YouTube background. What made you want to start a YouTube channel as an artist and animator?
I really enjoyed creating content, and I really enjoyed watching content creators and was really inspired by a bunch of different content creators to pursue that kind of path. And I really wanted to bring fun and joy and whimsy to the world and participate in that, because that just seemed like a really, really cool concept and a really cool thing I wanted to be a part of.
How would you describe your YouTube journey so far? How much did you have to invest, and what did you have to sacrifice to gain the community you have now?
The YouTube journey has been a long one. I had been doing this for going on 6 years, and it's been really fun, though. It's been really great, and I've loved being able to make content and share content. The biggest investment with content creation and having a YouTube channel in general would be time. There is a lot of time that goes into content creation, and a lot of people that don't make content don't really understand that, I don't feel like. So that's arguably the biggest sacrifice that I've had to commit with my social media platforms, and especially YouTube.
With you being an artist, sharing your art content, what is your opinion on AI art, AI artists? Do you think they will replace real artists in the future?
Oh boy. I do not like AI art. I have a strong stance against generative AI, especially, and AI that basically creates for people. That completely defeats the purpose of art, in my opinion. However, I don't think it will replace real artists in the future. That may be me being a bit delusional and hopeful. I don't know. But I feel like AI can only do so much. It can only be so creative. I think the beauty of real artists creating real art is the fact that they can take something and make it their own. They don't just kind of copy paste it, if you will.
So now let's get into the important topic of YouTube's AI age verification. I'm sure you are aware of what's been happening. So what's your stance on AI age verification, and what made you want to speak up and talk about it on your channel?
So the short answer is I don't feel like age verification really does anything in the long run, especially with the way that YouTube's going about this. They have an AI just basically reading everyone's history, and if you're a kid watching adult content, it's going to flag you as an adult, and vice versa. If you're an adult watching labeled kids content, you're going to get flagged as a kid. One of my channels got flagged, and all I pretty much did on that channel was either listen to music or upload music. But a lot of people are getting incorrectly flagged, and then they have to give up government information, which sounds very strange, just to use a platform and to have all of the features and benefits. That we haven't needed it this far before. Why do we have it now, you know? And because this affects me as a content creator, I do feel the need to address it like, hey, YouTube, what's going on? Like, this is not a good way to go about this at all. The whole age verification thing is not a good way to go about anything at all.
On your most recent video titled This Platform and Censored, you mentioned how some content creators who talk about YouTube's verification process, their videos are being hidden on restricted mode. Why do you think this is happening?
I feel like the only explainable answer would be that they don't want any negative talk surrounding this kind of stuff. They don't want the negative talk around the AI or the age verification and whatnot because they're trying to implement it. The more negative talk that spirals, the more that they'll have to kind of justify why they're doing it. And I really just don't think that they want the negative publicity, if you will. They want this to probably be seen as a positive thing or a good thing, and it's for the kids. And all of us are, you know, we're not stupid. We're suspicious of why this would need to be implemented.
You also mentioned in the same video that a lot of people are using alternative video sharing platforms to avoid YouTube's verification process and other uncertainties within the YouTube platform. Do you think YouTubers migrating to other platforms will change anything?
If I'm honest, probably not. The only way I feel like YouTube would get impacted is if they took a huge monetizational loss. In reality, I don't think people will really leave YouTube unless it gets to a point where they are like, okay, way too far. And I question if age verification is that point that will really push people to get off the platform. I'm not even off the platform. I do think it is an incentive to start uploading content on other platforms, though, in case something was to happen and, let's say, an account gets nuked because they couldn't ID verify or didn't want to ID verify. If that did happen and accounts were literally getting taken down, I would not be surprised if YouTube did face an impact from that.
As you may know, Gerfdas Gaming has talked about age verification and even has had his own petition that has a lot of attention. What's your thoughts on Gerfdas' impact on the YouTube community and what he has been doing to speak up about AI verification?
Very positive, very great. I am so proud to be one of the first supporters of the Patreon and see how much it has grown. I think it is really exciting that it's even gotten attention from like news outlets and stuff, which is great because it encourages people to talk about it more and like get YouTube's attention. So I got a big smile on my face. I am so happy with how many signatures that petition got. And even though YouTube may or may not respond to the petition per se, I think the fact that a lot of news outlets started talking about it and a lot of people started acknowledging it, that alone will have a massive impact, in my opinion.
Do you see any good benefits to YouTube wanting to help prevent people under the age of 18 from seeing explicit content with age verification? Why do you think this policy is getting so much backlash if they just want to protect those under 18?
I don't really see good benefits coming from this because this doesn't feel like an action that is actually designed to protect kids. It feels more like an overreach on privacy, and I don't think you should be forced to give up your private information just to use something. It makes as much sense as going to the library and needing to give up your ID just to enter the library, as I saw a different YouTuber say. It doesn't make any sense. And ultimately, I don't think that'll really protect kids anyways. They're already finding ways around the age verification. One of those ways being looking up adult content. This doesn't even feel like a good system to figure out who's a kid and who's an adult. Additionally, there is the concern of data breaches. I not only don't really trust these companies to keep my privacy safe and my data safe, I also question if they sell that data to third party companies and other stuff as such. And then there's hackers, obviously, and dark web users that probably are having a heyday with this. They're probably super excited.
What do you think will happen if YouTube continues to do age verification? How will it affect you and other creators in the long term?
I'm not really sure. I think ultimately what'll happen if people do give in to the age verification and giving up their IDs, I wouldn't be surprised if a data breach did happen and YouTube got sued for it. And for creators, if a bunch of their viewers are leaving the platform or forced to leave the platform because of the age verification, they'll probably start losing viewers, they'll probably start losing money, and they also will go to different platforms and find different outlets that don't require such a drastic measure.
Is there any solutions, negotiations, or changes that can happen regarding this new policy where both YouTube content creators and the YouTube team are both happy and can be satisfied?
I feel like the answer was YouTube Kids. YouTube Kids is the platform that can kind of, it's for kids and kids can go there and not hopefully be bombarded with adult content because the internet is for adults, it's not for kids. And YouTube Kids was a decent justification of YouTube, but for kids. So if they're trying to kidify YouTube itself, it doesn't really make sense why YouTube Kids is still even there to begin with. Of course, YouTube's kid flagging system is not the greatest. I literally watched as the first Sonic movie released. On YouTube, a bunch of Sonic content got flagged as for kids because of the movie. Even content that had very clearly adult content or strong swears or violence and all of this stuff, and it was getting flagged as for kids. I think a lot of people would be happy if YouTube actually focused on what's actually a problem, which is their AI flagging system, because I see a lot of content that incorrectly gets flagged as for kids when it's very clearly not for kids.
Okay, closing things out here, DBL, I have a few questions left. What do you want people to take away from your videos discussing YouTube's new changes to the platform?
Ultimately, I want to help keep people informed on what's going on with YouTube, especially if these decisions YouTube is making will impact me as a creator and I will eventually have to leave the platform. But I also want to encourage people to speak up and speak out about it, because if they don't like something, they should talk about it. Especially as a creator, I feel like it's very important for me to talk about it because it affects me as a creator. I don't like what YouTube's doing, and I want to continue to use their platform, but not if they keep doing stuff like this.
Do you have any words of encouragement for people who are upset by YouTube's age verification?
Don't give up. Don't shut up about it. Bug the fire out of YouTube. They don't deserve to have your ID or personal information. You should be able to make that choice, to give up that information. They shouldn't demand it from you. I mean, enough pushback and who knows, maybe they will revoke it. But we have to be willing to talk about it. We can't give up.
Lastly, what's your message to YouTube if you got the chance to speak with them?
If I had a chance to talk with YouTube, doing the AI age verification and demanding people's government information, private information, is a intense overreach on the company's part. There are plenty of other problems that need to be addressed first, and the age verification at best feels like a band-aid for an already existing problem that's not going to get fixed by this. It's only going to make things worse because it isn't even a good system. It's incorrectly flagging a bunch of people and then demanding that they cough up an ID. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, thanks so much for this, DBL. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to talk to you about this and learn more from you. So I hope you continue to have a positive impact on your community, and wishing you well in your career and what you bring to the platform of YouTube or whatever platform you choose to go to in the future. So with that being said, I hope you guys could learn something from this. Check out DBL's channel. She does amazing content on her channel. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.